Hey guys, so today we are working on triangular prisms. I always save this for the last shape that we do in surface area because it's kind of the one that has the most steps. I'm not going to say it's harder, but it has more steps and more parts to it. Once you have learned the process through rectangular prisms and cylinders, the process is the same. The only thing that's going to be challenging is making sure that you know which part of the triangle you're plugging into the formula. So one of the things that I always have us do first is go through every single triangular prism, and we are going to, and I'm just reading this right here, we're going to label all the perimeters. And then on that triangular base, we're going to label the base and the height. One of the confusing things about triangular prisms is that you have the base, which is the actual triangle, but then on that triangular base, you have a base. So we have a base of a base and a height of a base. We also have a height of a prism. So see where all these moving parts can kind of get, it just makes it a little bit more difficult. Okay. What process do we use to solve for missing lengths? So coming up, we might have a base that looks like this. And let's say that we know the height is 20. And we know that this entire base is, we'll just say 40. How could because one of the things we have to have is that perimeter of the base. So I have one side of the base, I need these other two sides. How could I find that? Okay, do y'all remember back before Christmas break, we used a formula to solve for the missing links of a triangle. Okay, and if you guess Pythagorean theorem, you are right. We would use the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to solve for these missing lengths. So the first step that we really would need to do before we start just going on and plugging things into formulas is let's go solve for all of those perimeters, base, and heights. So here we have the base and the height of the base. But remember, in lateral surface area, the first thing we need to do is find the perimeter of the base times height. So in order to solve for this, we have to also know that half of this right here is 11. Okay, and if we go in our calculator and plug in, excuse me, I'm still not feeling hot, you guys. We are making it. Okay, so we have 11 squared plus 18 squared square root of that. So it looks like our side lengths here are going to be about 21.1. Now I can solve using the formula. Here we would need to solve for that. And we're just going to use the same process, guys. We're going to, if we're missing that length of C, we need to add these together. So 31 squared plus 23 squared. And the square root of that is about 38.6. On this one, it looks like we're going to have to solve 2 different times. Now, here's the issue here is they don't really tell us what length is here and what the length is here. and they're not even. Like on here, we know that this entire length is 22, but it looks like it's cut in half, which is where we got 11. Over here, we don't know where it's cut in half. So I'm just going to go ahead and I will make the call of where it is cut. So I'm going to say that this length of 39, let's say that this portion is 13 and that this portion is 26. So that we could do 17 squared plus 26 squared to get this one. And then over here we can do 17 squared plus 13 squared to get this one. See how this is a lot of steps? We haven't even started solving for surface area yet. Square root of 458. Uh-oh. I messed up. Square root let me just start that over. Oh, guys, I'm messing that up. Square root of 458 is 21.4. That was just to find that. All right, guys, I made a mistake there just for a second. That's why I had to pause and come back. Our 21.4 is for this triangle right here. I knew that that wasn't right because 21 can't be the longest side here. We have a 26, so I knew something was funky. All right, here we go. So now let's solve for this one. 26 squared plus 17 squared square root of 965. And we get 31.1. Okay, now that we have these things all labeled out, now we can go in our formula and just plug and check, okay? But before you do number 4 through 9 on your own, you will need to go through and solve for those side links. I'm going to make sure that each one you know what to solve for. So I'm not going to do these with you, but on number 5, this is the one you want to solve for. I'm just going to put an X. You're going to want to solve for this, which is the same as that one. Solve for those. Okay. Now, the only ones I see that you might have a problem with is that this 44 isn't split up evenly. So again, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is 11 and that this part is 33. On number 6, it looks like it's split evenly in half. So to solve for the triangle, half of this would be 11. For number 7, half of 23 would be 11.5. Make sure we see that decimal in there. And then these are pretty straightforward. You just solve for those. I would go through and do all that right now first. Since we're in that Pythagorean theorem mindset, go through and solve all those first. Get your numbers down. Then, and just pause the video while you're doing that. Then when you're ready, come back to the video because I'm going to solve these first 3 with you. Okay, so now we are ready to come in here and solve. just like our other shapes, the first thing that we are going to want to do is start with our formulas. So we have lateral. Oh, let me get my pen tool here. I'm just going to draw a little line here. We have lateral surface area and total surface area. So this formula is going to be the exact same as rectangular prism when you're looking at your formula chart. So S equals capital PH, and total is S equals capital PH plus 2 area of the base. The only difference is the way that we solve for perimeter of a triangle is a little different, and the way we solve for this area of a triangle is different. So we've got to pay attention to what shape we're using for the base. So perimeter of a base, we have 21.1 plus 21.1 plus 22. So that's going to give us 64.2 times the height of the prism is 30. This is another common mistake, is that people put the height of the base here. Remember, this is lowercase, has nothing to do with the base. It's the height of the prism. So 64.2 times 30 is going to give you 1926. Just like before, that is our lateral. So 1926 plus 2 times, here's where we are solving for area of a triangle, which remember is 1/2 times the base of the base and the height of the base. So times 22 times 18. See how these formulas are a little bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing. And I know this is the first day. You might get stuck, but push through. It is hard. It is difficult. It is tedious. There's a lot of work to it, but you can do it. All right, there we have it. We have our lateral surface area and our total surface area. All right, let's move over and we will do number 2 together. I have our work zoomed in. I'm hoping that that doesn't mess y'all up here. Let me go and write these. Lateral. So we have S equals perimeter of the base times height. Perimeter of the base times height plus 2 of our bases. Okay, so for perimeter of the base, this is our base, this rectangle. I'm going to add up all 3 sides. 23 plus 31 is 54. 54 plus 30 would be 84. 84 plus 8 is 92.6. So 92.6 times the height of the prism is 27. Remember, the height is going to be that number that has nothing to do with the base. Okay, our base is the base. The height is the distance between the bases. All right, so 92.6 times the height of the prism. We get 2500.2. That is our lateral again, 2500.2 plus, let's get our 2 bases. 2 times area of a rectangle is 1/2 times this base and this height. Remember, because it has to do with the base. So times 23 times 32. Okay, so we have our lateral plus 2 times, we could put in 1 divided by 2. You could put in 0.5, however you like to do that. Times 23 times 32. And that's going to give us 3236.2. Remember to check, is my total surface area bigger than my lateral? Yes. So we should be good there. I'm going to go through the last example with you without talking it through. I just want you to watch the process. Okay? I've talked through a lot in these other ones. I want to just be quiet for a minute and let you see how this works. Okay. Let me just draw a little line. All right, so here's my lateral. And taking my lateral plus 2 of my bases. So plus 2 times 1/2 times 39 times 17. Remember, that has to do with the base. All right, so my total surface area is 2859. All right, what I want you to do, I know this is a long video. I know that you have a lot of work to do on these. I'm going to leave this right here in case you want to just pause this screen with the work in order to do number 4 through 9. Do your best. If you have any questions, first ask Miss Garcia and then feel free to inbox me on Canvas. I love you guys. I miss y'all. Bye.